What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Lavon Cason. I am back at it again with another video. This is the video that I've been waiting for, is the Google Pixel 6 Pro, or Google Pixel 6, getting tested when it comes to its emulation performance and its gaming performance. Because I want to see what that Google Tensor chip can do. Now, the video is made by ETA Prime, which, has made a bunch of videos on smartphones and does a lot of gaming stuff, does a lot of, tech stuff. And he also does, emulation tests and all those other things as well. Subscribe to his channel if you want, if you like that kind of stuff. So, let's get on to the video.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today I'm super excited because I got my hands on the new Google Pixel 6 Pro, and in this video we're going to be testing out some native Android gaming, running some benchmarks, and we're also going to be testing out some
Alright, let's see this. Let's see this.
This is not a full-blown review of the phone itself. This is more of a performance review of the internals, and I've been really excited to get my hands on this thing because we have that new Google Tensor CPU in this thing. It's a custom in-house Google SoC, and yeah, I really hope that we can get some good performance out of this thing. I do want to mention that as I'm making this video,
we all want to see that
here,
performance.
I've been using this phone for the past
That's
4
what we
days,
all want to
I'm
see.
a huge fan of the design, the performance, and basically everything about this little device. Now, inside of the box, what you're going to receive here is a USB Type-C to Type-C cable. You're also getting a USB Type-C to full-size USB adapter, and that's about it. We don't get a charger in the box like many new phones coming out in 2021. When it comes to overall UI performance, I personally haven't run into any issues at all. No stuttering, no lag, and this is running Android 12 right out of the box. I think they've done an amazing job optimizing this version of Android 12 for the Tensor CPU. The display on this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED at 120 Hz. It does support HDR10 Plus with a resolution of 1440 by 3120.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The main claim to fame here are the new cameras. We have a 50 megapixel, a 48 megapixel, and a 12. We do have quite a hump back here, but with a decent case, you can eliminate this altogether. That's the one aspect of the design I'm really not digging, but instead of having just a hump over on the left-hand side, so when you set it down, the whole thing wobbles, this is kind of a bar across the back with the LED and the 3 cameras built in. So like I mentioned, this is more of a performance review, and we definitely have to go
8
with the
cores.
specs because on paper this is actually
12 gigabytes
really
of
good.
LPDDR5 RAM.
That custom in-house Google Tensor 5nm.
Trust me.
Oh, an ad.
These miners' lives are going to change overnight.
Oh man.
When they get a taste of oxygen.
Let me skip this ad.
8-core ARM CPU. We have 2 Cortex X1 cores running at 2.8 GHz, 2 Cortex A76 cores running at 2.25, and 2 Cortex A55 cores running at 1.8.
5 years of security updates.
Using a Mali G78 MP20. This is a 20-core Mali GPU, and it's an absolute monster when it comes to an Android phone. 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM running in the 6 Pro. You can opt for different storage variants of the Pro, from 128, which I have here, up to 512, but every one of them uses that fast UFS 3.1 storage.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
6.71 LTPO
that's pretty cool right
AMOLED
there.
display, 120 Hz with HDR10 Plus support at 1440 by 3120. We've talked about the rear cameras, but up front we have an 11.1 megapixel, and this is running Android 12 right out of the box, and obviously, since this is a Pixel device, this is a super clean ROM. And in my opinion, one of the best features about this device, they're going to offer 5 years of security updates for the Pixel 6 or the Pixel 6 Pro. They've stated they'll do 4 years of Android updates and 5 years of security updates. So let's jump right into some benchmarks. Now I'm going to be facing this off against the Samsung S21 Plus. This has the Snapdragon 888 CPU, really awesome CPU. And the first one here is Geekbench 5 on the left.
Not bad.
The Pixel 6 Pro on the right, the S21 Plus. So with the Pixel 6 Pro, single core coming in at 1030, multi 2904. The S21 took it over in multi. And that 888 really isn't a joke. That's a great little SoC. Next on the list, we have 3D Mark Wildlife. This is a Vulkan benchmark for the GPU. On the Pixel 6 Pro, 6,632.
Ah,
on the S21 Plus, 5,440.
I
the
see you,
Tensor
Google
is
Pixel
beating out
6
that
Pro. I
888
see
in
you.
GPU performance. And the final one I ran here was Antutu. And on the Pixel 6 Pro, 752,511.
Okay,
The
Google
S21
Pixel
Plus,
6 Pro.
744,215. Now,
It
I will admit
outperformed
that on the
S21 Plus and Antutu. Okay. I'm kind of impressed so far.
Where I've been able to get around the same score as the Pixel 6 Pro. So even with this benchmark here, the 888 is beating out the CPU side of the Google Tensor, but when it comes to GPU, the 6 Pro is coming ahead.
Okay.
Now I want to get into some native Android gaming with the Pixel 6 Pro. First up, Minecraft, 24 chunks, we're at 120 FPS. Remember, we have that 120 Hz display, and it'll run this game like this really well. I did see some dips every once in a while, but overall performance is amazing.
So, Google Pixel 6 Pro, it has its own frame rate counter where you can set it for games, I guess. Okay, that's a neat feature.
And I expected it to be. Moving over to Asphalt 9, we're at 60 FPS in the settings, and it's running this amazingly.
Another ad.
Game. It's been on the market
Another ad, so.
Here's what $5 a month with Lemonade covers.
And I really had no doubt that it wouldn't run this game at full speed. So let's take it up a little bit to something a bit harder to run.
Okay, it's running at full 60 frames per second.
And that's going to be Call of Duty Mobile.
Call of Duty Mobile, you know, that runs pretty good.
High settings, frame rate is set to max, and we're at a very steady 60. Now, I know for sure that they have enabled 90 Hz with this game with some devices, and hopefully this will get whitelisted down the road, because we do have that 120 Hz display. I see no reason why this wouldn't run at 90 all day. And the final native Android game I wanted to test here was Genshin Impact. I am running into an audio issue. I'm getting a lot of crackle in here, and that's kind of given with
look
new
at the
territory.
frame rate, man.
After all,
Look at
this
that
is a
frame
new ARM
rate.
CPU, and
It's
hopefully
fighting
the
its way
developers
to
can
60
get this fixed up
frames.
soon.
You want to know a game that I would like to see? Where's Fortnite? Where is Fortnite? That would be a good test on the Google Pixel 6 Pro. Fortnite. Where is it?
So moving over to my favorite part of these videos, and one of the big reasons
let's see that emulation
performance. This new Google Tensor CPU, Emulation. First up, we have PSP using PPSSPP from the Google Play Store, Vulkan backend, 8x resolution with Mortal Kombat Unchained. Not a super hard game to emulate, but going up to 8x on this is pretty impressive. And we are wasting resources now because really setting this at about 3 is the way to go. Moving over to something a bit harder to emulate for PSP, we have Chains of Olympus. And with this one here,
it runs that game pretty good.
It's dropping down to around 52, but at 5...
God of War Chains of Olympus is the real test of whether or not your device could run, you know, every PSP game, because that game, God of War Chains of Olympus, is one of the hardest games that even, you know, mid-range devices at times have a hard time running. So, the fact that it performs God of War Chains of Olympus pretty good, you know, it means that it can pretty much run every PSP game.
It's working amazingly. We're at 60.
It's impressive. It's pretty impressive.
When it comes to PSP on the Google Pixel 6 or the 6 Pro, you're not going to have any issues. As long as the game's compatible with the emulator, it's going to play it just fine. I was really surprised by the 3DS emulation performance here. We're at 2x resolution. Okay. I'm using 6.
I never tried 3DS emulation at all.
As long as you enable it.
I never tried that.
You should be able to get some really good performance, like you see.
On any of my Android devices.
Going from 1x to 2x does put a strain on that GPU, but with this 20-core Mali, it's doing an amazing job. Here's Yoshi's Island. Again, we're getting great performance. I know it's a bit hard to see that FPS counter up in the top left-hand corner, and unfortunately I couldn't get the built-in FPS counter to work with this phone, and this emulator here was just showing 120. It was just taking the refresh rate of the screen. But the built-in FPS counter for Citra is stating we're at 59, 60 FPS, and it's playing just fine. It's looking great. Gamecube was another one that worked really well. I'm using the Dolphin emulator. This is not the one from the Google Play Store. This is one from the official Dolphin website. It's the development version. We're at 720p, Vulkan backend, F0 GX, which is a harder one to emulate, especially on an ARM device, is running at full speed. FPS is in the top right-hand corner.
So it's running at 60 frames per second. Okay, that's pretty impressive.
This also does Wii.
That's pretty good.
And with Wii,
so far, this Google Tensor SoC has been doing a pretty good job at gaming performance so far.
Pizza Hut's Detroit style
and emulation performance as well.
Same crispy crust, cheese all the way to the edge, and the
performance. Now with some games you might want to swap over to OpenGL, that's just kind of the way it is, but for both of these games that I tested here, Vulkan at 720p ran at full speed, no problem. I did try 1080 with F0 GX, but it was just a little too hard on this GPU and CPU combo, but going from native to 720p does make a difference, especially on these smaller screens. And the final emulator I wanted to test, at least for this video, was PS2. I'm using Damon PS2 Pro from the Google Play Store. Lots of controversy behind this, but it is the best working PS2 emulator for Android as of making this video. I've actually been really surprised by the development on this emulator, and as you can see with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, we're running at 60. We're running a PS2 game at 60 on the Pixel 6 Pro. Taking up just a bit to God of War 2. This is a bit different because it is using a lot of hacks in the background to get this to
you can definitely tell that there's a lot of hacks.
Frames get going on, but
look at the way that it's running. Like, it feels like it is running at like a 30-40 frames per second or something. Like, my God. Like, you can definitely tell that's not running at a straight 60 frames.
So in the end, I'm really impressed by the performance of the new Pixel 6 Pro. This is a great little CPU.
I'm impressed by seeing the performance of the Pixel 6 Pro. Like, I'm impressed. I still think that he should have added Fortnite, but other than that, it's a pretty good video.
That Google has come up with. It's the Tensor CPU, and I expect to see another generation next year. It's just going to keep getting better and better. And with that 20-core Mali GPU, the games and emulators that really take advantage of GPU performance will benefit from this over something like the 888. Initially, with the leaks on this new phone, I was a little worried that we wouldn't get great performance out of it, but as you saw in this video, it does a really good job.
Yeah, it really does do a good job. It really does.
Really good in those benchmarks. It's not quite as heavy duty as that Snapdragon 888 or 888 Plus, but it's really holding its own, especially
it definitely is holding its own.
So that's going to wrap it up for my initial performance
when
video.
it comes to the GPU.
Anything else you want to see running on the Pixel 6 Pro, just let me know in the comments below. I know there's a lot of stuff that I didn't test that some of you might have wanted to see running on.
I wanted to see ETA Prime test Fortnite. That's what I wanted to see.
Video. Just let me know what it is you want to see. If you're interested in picking one of these up or learning more, I will leave a few links in the description. And like always, thanks for watching.
You welcome, ETA Prime. You welcome. Good video from ETA Prime. Good video. Check out his channel if you want to. But yeah, overall, Google Pixel 6, Tensor chip, pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. The fact that it can hold its own with the Snapdragon 888 is pretty great. So, this phone is one of the most powerful phones in 2021. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you guys for watching in peace. And are any of you guys gonna pick up the Google Pixel 6 Pro or the base version of the Google Pixel 6? Like, let me know in the comment section below of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. So now that you have made it to the end of the video, I want you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and when you hit that notification bell, you gotta hit all notifications, so that way you can be notified for future Lavon Cason tech videos, future Lavon Cason gaming videos, future Lavon Cason live streams, and also other videos that I do, such as, you know, reaction videos and things of that nature. Bye.